You're listening to Co-operative Multiplayer. The official podcast of the 4-in-1 Game Zone.
Hello and welcome to another Co-operative Multiplayer Live. And yes, once again, we gotta stop doing these. They're bad for our health. Taking weeks off on this thing unscheduled. But we're here again. This is probably going to be a really fast podcast as I have to go to work. So there may be things specifically from like the last week. Even though there really hasn't been a whole ton of stuff from last week and this week. So we're probably going to be talking more about games we've been playing that have come out than news, because there's not a whole lot of it. But with me here today, of course, I'm your host, Sean Garmer, and this is the official 4-in-1 Game Zone podcast. And with me here today, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Anything going on since the last time we were on here?
Nope, just playing games and selling Steam crap.
How far are you along on selling the Steam cards?
I still have 900 cards to go to collect.
Oh, to collect?
Yeah.
Boy.
But I already bought Black Ops 3, so that's kind of the big one I was aiming for.
Ah.
Now I'm looking to get Grip, Drive Any Track, and then Assassin's Creed Syndicate when it goes on sale.
Good enough. So I played about 30 minutes of it because I had to do a podcast right before. I had to do the wrestling podcast right before I had, or the football podcast right before I downloaded it, and then stuff kept happening and I never got to play it again. But you played quite a bit of it. You also played it with fellow 4-in-1 writer Jeffrey Harris, who's called it on the show a couple of times. What did you think about the Division beta?
I liked it. It was good shooting. It was buggy in spots, probably because it was a beta. There was one spot where I kept falling through the world, like, endlessly. That was pretty funny. Like, I had a Twitch stream of that running that was pretty good. Like, I would fall through the world, I would get to, like, the bottom of this chasm, and then it would reset me to where I was falling through the world again. So I kept doing this for 15 minutes.
Wow.
But the shooting is good. I like the setting a lot. Some of the systems aren't explained that well. And, like, the consumables are pretty clunky. Like, they're trying to do too much stuff on the controller, I think.
Yeah, I noticed that too. There was a lot of stuff going on with the controller. I wound up using the like metal shield thing.
Oh, the ballistic shield? No,
yeah.
I used like the radar pulse, and when I finished playing, I was using the sticky bomb and the turret was pretty effective.
So the magnetic pulse thing, did that work pretty well? Or?
Yeah, because it just highlighted enemies, and then like they got a damage boost, so you could do more damage to them if they were caught in it. The sticky bomb was pretty effective, but it's pretty directional. Like you had to like aim it pretty well for it to be useful. But you can also aim it at people, which is fun.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, the turret was great because it could just mow guys down. If I had the money, I'd probably pre-order that game, but I don't have the cash right now.
I'm in the same boat. I'm sitting there going, well, there's a lot of games I want to get in March, and I can't get them all, obviously. Like, I still want Pokémon Tournament, and there's some really nice games coming in March because Daniel asked me that question for Fact or Fiction. I'm sitting there going, between now and April, there's plenty of stuff I want. I don't think I'm getting all of it. We do know Far Cry Primal came out this week. I don't think either one of us played it.
No, it got pretty. I don't think our site is on Ubisoft's list, and it got pretty mixed reviews. I've read.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. That it's a decent enough spin-off of the series. It's cool that it goes back into prehistoric times, but that apparently the story is not that great.
Yeah.
And then, the rest of it's kind of what you get from Far Cry. Let's go beat down some outposts, and, you get the non-gun gameplay, so you either like that or you don't.
If you get a bow and arrow and a spear that you can throw, so it's basically a gun.
Yeah, basically. The thing seems to be animals are pretty heavy on this one. I mean, there's always been animals, sort of, especially in Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
But this one it seems very, very heavy on, okay, use a bear, use a saber-tooth tiger, that was just cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's one of those definitely I might check out if it's $30. I don't know about 60.
I mean, yeah. It seems fine enough, but I don't like Blood Dragon at all, so I maybe just not a fan of their spin-off games.
It didn't seem. I mean, it seemed much more like the other Far Cry games than Blood Dragon, which was.
Oh yeah, but it needs like a prehistoric boss character.
So, you wrote for me here that you've been playing this game called Victor Vran.
Yep, it's action. It's basically a little more action Diablo 3.
Okay.
Like you can jump. You only have 3 skills per weapon, and the skills are limited to weapon classes. So it doesn't matter like what weapon you use. Like if you have a sword and you equip a different sword, it's still the same sword skills, and you can swap between 2 different weapon classes. Like there's swords, rapiers, shotgun, hammer, scythes, and lightning guns, which are pretty fun. And it's like a lighter version of Diablo 3, but kind of fun, because you can use a controller.
Well, the good thing is that, you said kind of fun, so at least, it's Diablo 3, it's not the hardcore thing it is, but...
No, I mean, it's also in early access, so,
okay.
It's still in early access. It's been in early access for like a year or two, so I don't know when it'll eventually come out, but it seems pretty fully featured so far, so...
Well, I was on Steam yesterday, and I saw... I don't know if you were actually playing it, if it was just one of those things that, like, it says you were, and maybe you weren't playing it at the time. And then I checked the video for it, and I thought it was pretty funny just from the trailer, but this hero and daughter game.
No, I was just running that Idol Master program to collect Steam cards.
Ah, nice. I mean, that thing... I don't know if you saw the trailer for it at all, but it's quite like...
Anime game?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's made by it's made with like RPG Maker, so
I think I was asked to review it, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
It has like you're a character that cannot level up, so he's stuck at level 1. So you have to like give your experience points to like all these. There's like 30 girls that you can, level up instead, and you can like build your world and basically everything that's usually in an RPG, and it's making fun of that. But your main character cannot level up. You have to level up other people with your experience points.
Cool.
So it was so silly. I was just kind of like, wow, okay. I did go ahead and I said I was gonna wait, but I went ahead and just got the Danganronpa 1, the Trigger Happy Havoc for the PC. I haven't got too far in it. Kind of met the characters, and then was gonna start actually going into the school. And then I had to stop playing because it was like 4 or 5 in the morning. I knew if I started another chapter, I'd be there for another hour. The game does not let you save whenever you want. You have to get through the section of story that it wants you to get through, and then it lets you save. So definitely not one of those games you want to sit there and go, oh, I got 20 minutes, let's play this. Not a game you want to do that with. Same thing. I mean, if you like, seriously, if you like visual novels and you like kind of anime weird things, it's for $24. It's really not bad. It's actually pretty good. I'm interested to keep going with it. Speaking of games that Maybe, maybe not. You want to sit there and try to pop in for 30 minutes. Depends on what's going on in that chapter. Fire Emblem Fates. I have both. I have both the games. I just got Conquest last night because I finally started playing it enough to where I got to. I mean, it doesn't take very long at all to get to Chapter 6. That's really quick for you to get to Chapter 6. And then you basically choose whether you want to be on one side of the, with one family or the other family. Basically, it's one family is the family you were born with, and the other family, the king stole you away when you were a baby, and you're with that family. So you choose whether you want to be with your native family that you don't know anything about, or you choose with you're with the kidnapped family, and so that's why it's called Birthright and Conquest. But then you get to go through their stories and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. And then in March they're going to have the Revelations one, which is apparently really good and well worth beating the other game. You're supposed to only play it once you beat one of the other games. Then once you get through the Chapter 6 and you pick which one you're going into, which game, that's when you get into like the world building and you can like build your fort and go visit other forts and collect stuff. Like you can, because you can only, your fort can only make like one food item and one like mineral thing. And so you have to go to other forts to get, like, let's say you want to make carrots and you want to make like some kind of silver or something. Well, to get the other stuff, you have to go to other people's forts, and they may just give it to you, or you may have to fight them, or so it gives you different things. There's side quests and all the stuff you get from Fire Emblem. Apparently, Conquest is much different. So if you're new to Fire Emblem or you really loved Awakening, I would tell you to buy Birthright first, which, according to the 300,000 in sales that the game's already gotten, Birthright is apparently the most popular one right now. But yeah, I mean, if you want something wacky and you're big into Fire Emblem, I would get Conquest, because they have totally different, and you get to see a little bit of it, like because you have to beat the other side of the family before you move on to that game that you're playing. So you'll see the difference between, okay, just beat the boss, which is obviously easier if you stick with the Birthright, and if you're in Conquest, you have to beat 4 of the 5 characters or something. So, but yeah, that game's really, really good. I have Awakening, but I wound up not playing a whole lot of it, and I'm sitting there going, why the hell did I not play a lot of Awakening? So now I'm thinking I need to go backwards and play that too.
I finally picked up Tetris Battle Guide in, and I like that.
I saw that. Yeah, you had the cartridge for it.
Super Famicom cartridge. Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
It's like $13. It was worth it. It's hard though. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be.
So why is it hard?
Well, you're facing against another opponent constantly, and you're drawing from the same pool of pieces. So if you need like the long piece, and the other guy gets his piece down faster or quicker than you do, that long piece goes to him.
Oh.
And also the spells in the game are kind of like, I don't know Japanese, so I don't know what the hell they're doing most of the time. But the game is like a lot in English, which I'm kind of surprised about. Like,
yeah.
Except for the spells and the story, like, you can play that game no problem.
Well, I mean, I guess you could like go read somewhere about the story. Or
something.
Yeah,
I mean, it's on like a game fact or something. But like the options menu is in English, so that's pretty easy.
Well, that's nice. I mean, at least you don't have to like be digging into like Google Translate to figure out which option you're picking.
Yeah.
Which is a nice thing. So, I think the only other... Oh, I played the Walking Dead Michonne game, the first episode of it. There's 3 episodes. You don't get anything extra, or you don't get anything off for buying the whole season in one. So, if you want to buy it by episode, if you only got $5, or if you want to just buy it all together, you can. It's $15 either way. The Xbox One's still having some issues. with the whole they don't let you buy things sometimes. So I could not buy episode 1 by itself. I had to buy the season pass version, which I'm okay with, but I thought it was kind of weird. The game is basically you get to learn about Michonne, and you get to kill a lot of zombies with her katana. So I think it fulfills what people want out of a Michonne Walking Dead game. I mean, it's not gonna do anything different than the other Walking Dead games. So if you don't like the way that those games play, don't buy this. If you really like how those games play, and you're willing to kind of wait because the first one kind of just sets up things, I think by number 3 we'll get a nice payoff. So I think it's going to be worth it in the end. So if you like Michonne, I definitely think you should spend the $5 and at least try out episode 1, if anything. But are you? I don't know how you are with The Walking Dead. Are you interested in that at all?
I liked the first game a lot. I didn't like the second game as much.
Right. Yeah.
The only thing I know about this... Well, I beat the second game, but I have a friend who wrote on the second game.
Okay.
He was an old high school friend of mine.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I didn't like the second game that much. It was just one of those, like, that I can see what they're trying to do, but it doesn't... I don't know. The first one just felt different. And that's kind of why I like this one more. The Michonne game felt a little bit more like the first one than the second one. And it obviously has some of the updated stuff they added in the second one where you move around. Or not move around, but you can move the stick down and up and different things instead of just pressing A or mash on the button like the first one. So, but yeah, let's get into talking about what is going on this week and some of the. Oh well, first of all, they revealed the PS Plus and Xbox games for Gold for March. On the Xbox One, you can get Sherlock Holmes: Crimes and Punishments, which if you had PS Plus for a while, that game came out, I want to say somewhere like last year. I don't remember when last year, but I know it's on my PS4.
I think it's like early March, or like it came out like the winter, I think.
Yeah, I know exactly. I was thinking either January of last year or February, somewhere around there. And Lords of the Fallen, which I've kind of wanted to check out. I've heard it's okay, so that's cool. I can finally check it out on Xbox One. And you get Supreme Commander 2 and Borderlands 1, which I don't have Borderlands 1, so it'll be nice to finally have that on the 360. And then, of course, you can have those both on your Xbox One as well because of the backwards compatibility. And then Sony is giving you Broforce, which is what won the vote over Action Hank, and I can't remember the other game. I know that you played Action Hank.
Yeah, I liked it, but I can understand why he didn't win because it's just kind of an endless runner game.
Right, yeah. Broforce looks pretty fun, and the fact that like every time you die, you get a different bro. So and they actually go by some of the like real people. It's not, there's definitely some licensing things that are not in there, but they try their hardest to replicate them, which is fun. And then the Galaxy, which you reviewed. So, did you end up liking it? I don't remember what you said of it.
The PC version is kind of janky, and apparently it's, like the game is still not done yet.
Oh, that's great.
That's weird.
Super Stardust HD for the PS3, which is like kind of like Rezo Gun. You just go around and shoot things. It's a twin stick shooter. The Last Guy, and then on Vita it's Flame Over and Reality Fighters, which I have no idea what those are.
Nope, neither do I.
So the big thing, I guess, which hasn't happened yet because it doesn't happen until March 15th, is there's been rumors going around about 4 or 5 different listings for prices for the PlayStation VR course, it's all in Europe and England right now, so it's in pounds. When I did the going over from pounds to dollars, the lowest one, which is 349 pounds, came out to $487, and that's the lowest one. Some of the other ones are way more expensive. They have ruled out the $800 price tag, which of course Sony would rule that out because nobody's buying it. If you tell somebody that it's $800. So, I mean, Sony has said this is its own thing. So it's not like if they did say it's $800, it would be totally out of the realm of what they meant. But do you think it winds up being any cheaper than the 487?
I think it'll be $400, just total.
Total, yeah.
Because that'd be a weird price point. It's $487. Like,
yeah, I can see maybe $450. I
don't think it'd be more expensive than a PS4 though. Like, that'd be kind of crazy if they did that.
Yeah, I think you have to. At least it's either equal to the PS4 or maybe $350 in dollars. Because it's just like I just cannot see somebody wanting to, especially once you get out of income tax season, wanting people to just plop down $800, $850, $900 for the system and the VR thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see them doing a bundle for like about $600 or something like that. I don't know. This is obviously Sony's trying to downplay it because they don't want to come out at that same price as Oculus Rift and the Vive, and they're not really competing with them if they're the same price. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like they can't be over. Like they can't be over $500, or even I'd say $450 would probably be their magical number. They can't be over.
I'd imagine some people are saying if it's over $350, it's not worth it. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Definitely though, Sony has a meeting March 15th during GDC. To me, it's not just the price point; it's also when it's going to come out. Because now there's a lot of thought, and I think they need to wait till after E3 to have it come out. Honestly, maybe you reveal the price point, and then at E3 you use it to hard sell everybody on. Okay, these are the games that are coming out, and some of them that they're going to come out at launch with the system, and the system launches like a month later or something.
Unless they just say it's out now. Like, go ahead, go buy it.
Oh yeah, or like release it like a week or two before E3, and then say stay tuned to E3 for some of the awesome games that are coming like really really soon or something like that. Just I don't know. I mean, the thing with the Vive and the I can't think of Oculus is that they're not just gaming machines. You're using them for other things too. Whereas the PSVR one is really being touted as it's gonna do something for games, so I don't know. I think this one's tied a lot more to what you're gonna show off than necessarily just buying the thing.
Yeah.
Do you think if it's over 400, do you think it sells out still, or?
Oh yeah, because people are dumb and they'll buy anything.
Yeah, I just.
I mean, when the Vive goes on sale for $800, I know that's going to sell at day one, like hour one, honestly.
Wow, really? Dang, 800. I mean, you're right though. People buy those $700, $800 phones outright from places.
Yeah.
So.
My roommate is considering buying like the new Galaxy 7 for like no good reason. And it's like, is your phone broken? No. Is it underpowered? No. Then why do you want it?
Yeah, the only reason I'm thinking about it is because I may not be able to afford the laptop that I wanted in time for when I go down to Dallas for WrestleMania, and I'm due for an upgrade anyway. I have a 4 going to the 7 when,
Yeah, that's an upgrade. I think he has like the 6 right now, though, and it's like...
Yeah, It's the same thing when like the Fi came out, and the only thing that was cool about it was that it was water resistant. I was like, yeah, no, thank you. You know, just so I mean, you know, people are crazy about that with the phones. Like they just got to have the newest one just to say they got it. It's just so weird. And I think this is kind of what you were right. I think when you first hit on it a while back, this is going to go through the same thing. I think people are really going to be rushing to be the first people that have the VR and get to show it off, and then they'll be complaining when there's not a lot of whole cool things for it at first. You know?
Yeah.
Like everybody does. So, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, for me, I'm not going to care until I get to play something, or somebody's going to have to show me. I'm still not too sold on these things taking over the freaking gaming world or whatever. But it is what it is, you know. It's certainly a huge thing that everybody's paying attention to, because now there's, is it Google or somebody I just saw came out with their own VR thing for the phone?
Samsung.
Yeah, Samsung's had theirs. That's one of the things, if you pre-order the 7, you get the gear for free. I don't remember if it's, I know Amazon's working on it. I think it is Google. Or one of the other phones. Might have been, I'll figure it out at some point. But, so there's that. Some of these, Hideo Kojima was at DICE, and he mentioned that not only was he meeting with Del Toro later that day, but he had met with Reedus, kind of showed him a little tour of his studio. He talked about how he wants to keep his studio small and stuff, but do you think that we're going to get something out of him talking to Del Toro and him talking to Reedus again?
It'll be Silent Hill as the movie.
You think? I mean, he did talk about how he likes horror.
Well, I mean, Del Toro's not directing Pacific Rim 2 anymore, so why not?
How do you feel about that, by the way?
I guess it's fine. Like, I guess I'm more interested in the story, if anything, because the story in Pacific Rim 1 is kind of lacking.
Yeah, it's much more about the kaiju and seeing the battle and all that stuff. I mean, there is some story in there, but it's, you know, doesn't feel like it's necessary.
Bring back Idris Elba as a 500-foot tall monster. That'd be great.
Yep, exactly. I mean, Idris Elba can only help your movie, so. And Ron Perlman, too, just to be there to have happen to him what happened to him in the movie.
Yep.
I'm kind of okay with it because he's still staying on as a producer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll have a part in it, regardless. So.
And it's the guy that did the Daredevil season 1, so I thought that was pretty good. So maybe between the two of them, they can come up with something that works.
Yeah.
And maybe it does have more story in it, because that was one of the cool things about that Daredevil thing was the story of that season. But seriously, do you think that we'll get something?
Like I said, I think it'll only be a movie. Because he's gonna. I think he's gonna be too tied down for. Like with the other project that he's trying to do for Sony.
Right. You don't think Sony would try to put in and say, okay, if you guys really come together, we'll put in money for you to make this game, or?
I mean, maybe, but like we have to wonder how well that project was shaping up in the first place. Like I'm sure if it was coming together, like great, I don't think Konami would have canceled it. But let's face it, like Kojima's not exactly a fast maker of games, or a cheap one at that.
Right, exactly. If anything, I don't think we're hearing anything about it this year. If they do make something, it's next year we'll hear about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't get my hopes up about that kind of thing. Bethesda came out and said that they're working on 3 big projects. 2 of them are nothing they've ever done before, and one of them is very much a Bethesda-type game. Is there something that they have not done that you'd like to see? That you go, okay, Bethesda making that, I'm interested.
Dating simulator.
Um, isn't that what Fallout is anyway?
Like a high school dating simulator.
We already gave you the apocalypse version of you can date people, and now you can have the high school version from Bethesda.
Maybe an action game. Like I could see them trying to do something like that, or like something like Dead Souls, or like Dark Souls.
I could definitely see something like Dark Souls. It's just, they've kind of already, they have two RPGs. One of them is almost a shooter RPG. And then you've got Doom now. I mean, they've got a lot of the popular things cornered, along with Wolfenstein. I mean, it's just like, what, Bethesda fighting game gonna happen? I mean, it's, and almost all their characters are, people that it's just like regular people.
It'll be Sean Bean versus a Deathclaw.
Yeah. One they got Dishonored too to have that kind of thing. So, do you think any of these has to do with Elder Scrolls at all, or?
I think I mentioned one of them could be like an expansion to Elder Scrolls Online. Like
Okay.
I could see them doing that, honestly. What I would really like though is like a port of Morrowind, like in Skyrim's engine.
That would be interesting. You really think they would go do that though? Original Xbox game?
Well, people of the 5 games, Morrowind is still, I think, the favorite. Like, it is clunky as hell now if you compare it to like Skyrim. But as far as storyline, characters, even like the world itself, it is still the best of the 5.
That's saying something right there, because all I ever heard is how many people lost so much time in Skyrim, how much they loved that, and Oblivion was pretty good too. And to go back to, I mean, that would be cool to I could kind of see them doing but you would have thought they would have done that last year if they wanted to do it, like a remaster of Morrowind and Oblivion together. Or, they could be doing it in anticipation for whatever the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be, aside from the online game.
Yeah.
So,
like, I don't think it'd be Fallout 4 or anything like that. Or, like, it's not going to be, like, more expansions or anything like that for it, I doubt.
I mean, they do have DLC that they still have to release for Fallout 4. So,
oh, yeah. I mean, I just bought that season pass.
And they announced that the mods are still coming. It seems like, seems like everybody's been waiting for those for a while, at least for the consoles. And they are doing another E3 press conference on June 12th.
They're going to re-announce Prey 2.
Man, well, I mean, they got to have something big to be doing another conference. So there's got to be some known game or something that's happening. I can't imagine they're going to hedge their bets on just new projects, and you're going to have a E3 thing based on that. But I don't know if there's one company that can pull it off, but Bethesda. You think, or there's got to be something big going on there.
Let's see. They're finally going to make that Wet 2 sequel they've always been talking about.
Oh, man. That would be just from the fact of... They canned that, right? Like, they said they were going to make it at one point, but then just said no?
Yeah. Because they looked at the sales of Wet and were like, no, we're good.
I kind of even forgot what Wet was. I know it was a female-led thing.
Yeah, Eliza Dushku was like the main character, and it's like... It's trying to be like Grindhouse or something like that, but not... It doesn't have good gameplay.
Oh, well, that's always great. The game doesn't have good gameplay. That's That's the surefire way to not have your game continue to be made, is if the game just sucks gameplay-wise.
Yeah.
So, we move on from that to... neither one of us have Street Fighter V yet, so if you're experiencing the problems with people rage quitting, I don't understand why that was not addressed before they came out with the game. That's just a thing that's been a thing in online games for a long time now. That should have been anticipated by the people at Sony and Capcom, that people are going to do that and you don't penalize them for it. I mean, a fighting game is like made for people to just get mad and go, fuck this, I'm not losing.
Pretty much.
Even though it really doesn't matter. If they had the penalty, you're losing anyway. It's so... I find it silly. Like, I can kind of understand in some of the, like, the sports games and stuff like that, because you have to sit there for another, 2 quarters and just get beat. But, like, a fighting game, it just ends so quick. Why? It's kind of silly to me. So BioWare asked people about a Dragon Age Tactics game, which would be kind of like XCOM, Fire Emblem, They did say that it's likely it would have what the series is known for in having the romantic relationships or whatever, very much like Fire Emblem, that has this huge list of, how the male and female relationships, which ones you can have babies with and not, and all that kind of stuff. So I imagine Dragon Age Tactics would be the same way. There was a large percentage that wanted it to be only on PC, but it was an overwhelming yes. There was 6% that wanted it to be on mobile for some reason. So why would you want it to only be on PC if you're thinking that way? I mean, just graphics-wise, or just...
Because PC gamers are kind of snobs.
I guess they all got on Twitter at once for that. But there's no like inherent like good reason why you wouldn't.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, like at XCOM 1, that worked pretty well. Like just fine on consoles. They didn't sell that well, but also it's XCOM. Like that's not exactly a big franchise.
I think more people played XCOM after it became like PS Plus and all that than people that just bought it.
Yeah.
It's just, I know I did. I wound up loving the game. I was like, well, I wish I would have known about this before. But, to me, I think, when you're looking at like something like Hearthstone or these card games or whatever, I can understand why you only want it to be on like mobile and PC, things that can get into there fast and whatever. But like these tactics games, we've seen a lot of them on the consoles, and I don't see why it would be a big deal you don't put it on there. I mean, would you play it though?
I'd probably not, just because I don't particularly like Dragon Age. Like the only one I liked was Dragon Age Inquisition, which people seem to have mixed opinions on. Like I really didn't like the first game at all, and no one liked the second one. So
yeah, they couldn't try to give the second one away enough. You wouldn't like. Just it's interesting. I'm always interested in something that's a tactics game, sort of, but I don't really care about Dragon Age either. So, but I can see why people would want it. If you're a huge Dragon Age fan, having a spin-off game in the series that would rival other things that are beloved now, like Fire Emblem, I don't see why not on that front. Ronda Rousey says that she wants to play Samus Aran in a movie because she always liked the fact that you found out it was this hot blonde chick under the mask. I think she definitely would fit the role of the kicking ass chick, but would she work well as far as we're not seeing you, you're under the mask, you're in the suit, all that kind of stuff. What do you think?
I mean, I guess it might work. I just don't think she's she's not an actress. That's kind of the problem.
Right.
Just like a physically imposing chick, and that's it.
But you're not really gonna see that with her having the suit on, the whole physically imposing part. So, I don't see why that would be the whole appeal of it, right? So.
Yeah, but if that's the case, why not just cast like Scarlett Johansson in it? If this is gonna be like a voice actor role.
Right. Probably because Ronda Rousey is much cheaper. But I think if you're gonna play, if you're gonna have her be Samus, and you get to see both sides of Samus, like you get to see the Zero Suit Samus, then you also get to see the Metroid Samus, the traditional one anyway. I think that works because then you do get to see, you get to see her, and you get the appeal of all that and whatever, and then you get the Metroid part of it too. So I can see what she means, and I could see it possibly being a thing that Nintendo considers.
Just go hire Beth Phoenix.
Hey, why not? Why not? I think that's something we definitely would be interesting. Metroid 30th anniversary. I think we've talked about it a bunch on here that they would definitely would help them if they had a TV series for Metroid. They could really capitalize off that if they wanted to. Pokemon's going to have a direct on Friday. This is the 20th anniversary of Pokemon. They are doing the 20th. They just did the 20th anniversary day, or I think it's this weekend. It's this weekend. Never mind, because that's when the red, yellow, and blue come on the Virtual Console for the first time. So I don't know what they can really announce in this thing. We already know those games are coming, so unless you're going to talk about Pokemon Z or give us information about Pokemon Go that we don't already know, I don't really see what you're doing with this. They did say, apparently via translation, it's only supposed to be 5 or 10 minutes. Why have a direct that's only going to be 5 or 10 minutes, though?
So they can announce some new Pokemon game.
You think so? You think it's going to be?
Sure, why not?
You think it's another spin-off, though, or you think it's a actual part of the normal series?
Aren't the latest ones X and Y? Didn't those come out a year or two ago?
Yes.
Why not make another one? I mean,
yeah. I mean, they always wind up having a third game at some point.
They crank them out pretty quickly enough, so.
Yeah, it's you have a point there. So have you seen this Assassin's Creed young adult novel thing that they're doing?
No, I saw the comics and that kind of turned me off enough.
So Matthew J. Kirby is apparently going to be writing it. They're collaborating with Scholastic on it. Big when we were kids, that was a huge name in books. Still is, obviously, but I don't play any of the games, but I like the historical stuff in it.
I would agree, but also I don't think neck stabbing is going to be a big part of this book series.
Yeah. Apparently, William Boss Tweed is going to play the conquistador, Hernan Cortez, in the first book. I could see this working, being a thing if they can get it out there and market it and whatever. It's called The Last Descendant book series. The main character is going to be using the Animus to prove that his father is innocent of a crime. So, I don't know. I mean, this is kind of cool in a way. I think that's cool that they're branching out with it, aside from the movie and the comics. So, getting it to appeal to more people. I guess why not?
I'll wait for your book report on them.
Yeah, sure. I'll get on that. WWE 2K16 is coming to PC. I know you're excited.
Yeah, I asked Adam to get me that for review. He kind of chuckled at that.
Well, hey, you were the one that bought it last time. So.
Yeah.
It will come with all the DLC and stuff too. So, yeah, and you can play as Arnold. That's what everybody wants, right?
Sure. Not like a better gameplay system wouldn't help.
Yeah,
Pick a
exactly.
roster. That's all that matters.
So have you seen this? They're going to come out with a loot gaming crate now. So it's going to have like downloadable games and other stuff in it. I think it's going to be $25, just like the Loot Anime one that now is being branded with Crunchyroll, so they can have more up to date anime stuff. Would you consider getting one of these things if you just? This seems like to me, if you don't have any kind of like subscription service that you spend money on, or you just have disposable income, like I don't understand why you would. I get the appeal of it, but it's like $25 a month for something like this, and you don't really know what's in it.
Yeah, there are kind of too many of these stupid loot crate stuff going on. Like there's at least 4 or 5 for like the nerds, and like this one gets you a T-shirt, and this one gets you like digital games, and this one gets you, Deadpool figurines. It's like, calm down, people.
Oh, it's like everything. Now it's just like everything. We're going to get to the point where everybody's going to think this subscription service thing is cool, and then you're going to have one for every freaking channel, and it's going to get to the point where it's going to be like, yeah, can't afford all this. We're going to have to figure out something, And I don't know. I think it's going to wind up exploding on itself to the point where if you do way too many of these, because just like between like every now CBS has their one because they're not with Hulu, and then you got Hulu, and then like seems like every wrestling organization's going to have their own one at some point, and like every TV thing, Crunchyroll, Funimation have theirs. I mean, so it's just I'm going to get to a point where with all this stuff, it's like, damn, $20, $10 only going to go so far. It's
Yeah.
Speaking of cable and everything, so once again the FCC is going around trying to figure out how to lower prices, because what they did with protecting the internet only made it to where, at least Comcast has done this to me. I've already had to get the unlimited data for Comcast because I've already gone over the 3 different months that they'll pay it for me, and I'm not going to pay $10 for every time I go over, like, 10 gigs or whatever the hell it is. No, it's like $30 for every, like, 50 gigs that you go over.
See, that hasn't hit my Comcast yet. I use Comcast too, but like the data caps haven't gone up here at all.
Oh, really? Lucky then. Because it is full force here. It's a pain in the ass. So I have to pay $30 extra a month for unlimited data, as if I had a phone. And like I don't pay enough for cable as it is. But so now they're trying to pass this rule that would make it to where you can't. The cable company can no longer make you have a set-top box, which is how they get $10 extra out of you every time. Especially for me, where I just don't have a small enough apartment where I can go around having cable cords everywhere. So I have 3 different set-top boxes, and that's $10 a piece. And if you could find a way to make it to where you could just connect the USB cord or some HDMI thing, do you think this even passes? Because they haven't even gotten to the point where cable companies are going to come lobby to say why this is bad.
Oh, it won't pass, but it should. I mean, look at the monopoly they have on like cable modems. Like that's an extra $6 or $10 every month, and if you're smart, you should just buy the modem yourself. The same thing with like a cable box. Like way back in the day, cable box, you didn't need a cable box to get cable. You had service and you just plugged it into a TV and that was fine.
Right.
And they ginned up some, you need a box to get the digital channels now or something like that, but that's crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just remember when they first introduced that thing, it was like, oh, well, you can only get to like channel 50 or whatever. So now you have to get this cable box, or you're going to be paying for channels you can't see. And then it, just kept on, and then they introduced the DVR and everything. But I think this passes. but I could just see this not really doing what they think it's going to do, because the cable companies will just find another way to make you pay that $20 or that $10 or that $30, $40, depending on how big your house is, in another way, like they did with the internet.
Yeah.
It's just, because it's just, let's be honest, this stuff is getting to the point where it's getting way too expensive. And,
oh yeah, my cable bill right now is like $106 a month.
Oh, mine's even worse. And that I'm locked into a contract, so I can't like get out of it and lower my tier. And then they made some of these tiers like ridiculous to the point where it's like, wow, if I lower it just one tier, I don't have so many channels. It's like, it's almost worth it for me just to cut the thing entirely.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's why they have so many of these cord cutters now. It's just so crazy.
Well, I have both TV and cable, or TV and internet. Mm-hmm. I only have TV because of the roommate, like for prospective roommates, if they want to move in with, like, and have cable TV.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to have a roommate, I'd cut it immediately. I don't use it.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I kind of just watch a couple of things here and there, and that's about it, And now even cable companies like Time Warner's trying to get into Hulu so they can cut out the next day thing, because they're tired of people not having Time Warner because you have Hulu instead or whatever. It's just,
yeah.
The greediness is so crazy sometimes. Apparently, Wolverine 3 was supposed to be R before Deadpool came out.
I'm sure that's what they're saying.
Yeah. The script was always intended to be R because there's so much language and stuff in the movie, supposedly. So
it's supposed to be based on the Old Man Logan story, like line, right?
Right.
I wonder how they do the incestuous Hulk and She-Hulk pairing.
Oh boy, yeah. Hopefully not, as a love interest or anything.
Well, no, because they're Hulk characters. Marvel owns them. They can't be in an X-Men film.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. Like Deadpool's already made. I think they said like it's
made more
grossing
of any X-Men film. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's destroyed them all essentially.
Wow. Obviously, it helps coming out during the superhero craze that we're on now, but that movie's also very, very good. So.
Yeah, but so did the other two. Like the last two X-Men films also did, though.
Yeah. I think this one much more though, because you're right in the middle of all this, like where everybody seems to be doing one.
Yeah.
Really quick, Crash Bandicoot coming back. You think it actually happens? Or
I think it comes in a Skylanders expansion pack.
Really? That'd be really weird, but considering all the other monsters that they have nothing to do with anything, but.
Yeah, but look at Spyro.
Yeah, it fits for what the game is. But.
You can get the Spyro and Crash Bandicoot finally team up.
So you don't think they'd actually make a game for it?
Only a downloadable game. They're not going to make some big, $60 game. I don't think they can. That game does not play that. The game does not play in 2016.
Oh, I agree with you. They have such... when you go play that game, you can notice so many of the things that they basically center the camera and all that stuff into this one zone, because the PS1 had, couldn't do stuff like that, that you can do now. So it's crazy that they want to bring that. It'd be cool to see that come back, but I think the people that are just waxing nostalgic about it are forgetting how limited Crash Bandicoot really was.
Yeah.
I don't remember the original Xbox game being that bad though.
Well, they made two, and then they also made like 360 and PS3 games that were terrible.
No, those were bad. Yeah. Which might be why.
Actually, to promote another site real quick, Giant Bomb did like a demo derby on an official Xbox demo disc, and one of the Crash Bandicoot games was on it. I think it was Twin Sanity.
Yeah, Twin Sanity. Yeah.
And that looked bad.
I'm sure it probably was.
Like Crash's arms are coming out of his head.
Yeah, and apparently Knack 2 is being made, which, I
Mark
remember
Cerny
Knack
needs
1 not
more
being
work.
that great.
Mark Cerny needs more work.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I think that's all I can do. I gotta go to work, and I'm actually probably gonna wind up being a little late, so we can get this out of here. So yeah, hopefully you guys are checking it out, rating and reviewing on iTunes or Stitcher. You can subscribe either to this by itself, which is this show is going to go under a name change pretty soon here, within the next couple weeks. Everything's going to probably stay the same. It's not going to change a whole lot. Just we're trying to consolidate the things into one brand so that it kind of all goes with it being on the WTM network and everything. So if you see a different name, it's still the same show, still the same feed, just it has a different name on it, with a different logo and all that. As far as, I had a thing with the games that were coming out, but we know it's Far Cry Primal.
I just got that for review.
You did?
Yeah, Adam just sent me a code.
Wow, awesome. Hey, at least, hopefully, Marc will be able to tell us something next week about how great Far Cry Primal is, or not.
Yeah, we'll see.
Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2.
Sky on PC.
Yep, Mega Man Legacy Collection for the 3DS. That Walking Dead Michonne game that I already talked about. The Ninja Sengeku Hitman Go, which that is a really good game. If you don't like the other Hitman games, I think you should definitely check that out. I have not met one person that plays that game and doesn't say I like it. So that's just one thought there for everybody. If you're not a big, at the beginning of the month, part of PS Plus, you're going to be able to play the Hitman beta again. So if you have PS Plus, you might want to check that out just to see if you like the
I played that
way
beta
it's going to be. You did?
Yeah, on PC.
Did you like it?
No.
No.
It's a Hitman game.
It's a Hitman game. But you like Hitman Go, right?
I didn't play that. I know what it is, but I haven't played it. It's only been on phones. Like, I might pick up the console or PC version instead, but...
Alright. Well, until next week, unless something ridiculous happens. Yes. We will be back next week, for sure this time. Until then, everybody, see you later.
Later.